Let's just check. Is Cindy on?
I'm here, Cheryl.
Good. Oh,
Oh,
good.
good. And
Always makes me feel good when the other speaker shows up.
yeah. Okay, Cheryl, you're recording.
Okay. Well, thank you all. And, thank you, Carol Ann and Dr. Canizero. What an amazing couple, and, what a great contribution over the years to our business, to who they are and what, they speak to as far as children's health in the most loving and caring way. And for the stories that they brought tonight, as I'm listening, and I love the stories so much, but as I'm listening to it, you think about, I know Dr. Canizero and Carol Ann both have dedicated their lives to helping children in their practice, just amazing. But this then lets them extend out even further than that to reach others as well and make a difference. And I also love, and I know that you noticed, that, whatever the body is dealing with, it just deals with much more efficiently. And we see that over and over and over. That's repeated over and over, is that, it is good food is just foundational to good health, and the body knows what to do with the right ingredients. And so we're very blessed in that regard. So if you're joining us for the very first time, my name is Cheryl Cortese. I'm a National Marketing Director with the Juice Plus Company, and have been here for 33 years, looking forward to the next 33. But we gather this way once a week. And of course, story time is a very powerful time as far as sharing not only the product information, but the business information as well. And then of course, we like to do basic training here for 30 minutes. And our whole goal, of course, is to have everybody really getting the very best results from their business. We've talked frequently about the Comma Club, and as you move yourself to that top commission position of sales coordinator, and then growing from there. But a good, strong sales coordinator is definitely got a comma in their check, and it's aside from all bonuses and other things that go along, title bonuses and other things that really add to the growth of a person in our business. And when I talk about growth of people in our business, there are people who've certainly been here as long as I have, some a little longer. And tonight, we're all blessed because I have one of our national marketing directors on our team. And she's today, we have titles as it goes up with the new plan, but she's a presidential marketing director plus, and that's Cynthia Gompers. And she's going to join me, and we're just going to, share tips with you. And I'll give you just a little bit of a background on Cindy. She's from Newburyport, Connecticut. And
Cheryl,
Massachusetts. Did I get that? Massachusetts. Now, I knew she was in the Northeast, okay? I've only known her 30 years.
It's a new England.
It's 30 years, that's all I've known her, so yeah, I'll get it right, okay, at some point. But she's received nearly every award that our company can honor her with. And she's one of the original 100 Club members. And of course, 100 Club is top recognition for business development. She's got business really all over the world, has received numerous Elton Awards, which is again for top growth and recognition. And in her own organization has over 47 national marketing directors. So, she's been here a while as well, but she's going to share some things with you tonight, she and I both, in more or less back and forth conversation. And that's what I like about this particular call is we are still, even though there are anywhere from 60, 70, 80, 100 people on Thursday night, we're still, you might say, small enough to have discussion and question answer. But Cindy's one of the very best at painting the vision of what our business is and what it has to offer. But I'd like maybe for us just to start, and if she were going to give you some tips on the basic things in leadership, what she's learned today. What are some of those basics, Cindy, that you feel like has made your business work? And then we're going to talk about, more or less putting your business together so that you've got some good information right at your fingertips, because she's very good also at being quite organized. Her background was interior design and commercial real estate, and commercial and I'm getting this all commercial design as well as interior design, residential. So she's quite organized, and I'll let her share with you. So Cindy, just maybe give them a few tips of things you would share with a person who's just starting that you've learned over your 30 years that you feel are basic to your business. Okay.
Okay, this is extemporaneous. I've got the binder here ready to go.
We'll talk about that next.
That's okay.
I think it really does benefit people, though.
I agree.
Just to share those things that, okay, so many things change over time. Technology has changed, the techniques and the way we do our business. But, kind of like we did on the call the other night with the, for the Take Action Tuesday, is, what are some of those basics that you feel like have been foundational to your business? Because as I said, Cindy has one of the biggest businesses out there as well. So she's got a lot to offer.
The one thing that comes to my mind, Cheryl, first of all, and everyone on the call, and hello everyone, it's great to be on this call, is that in order for me to, or for any of you to inspire anyone else, we need to get inspired first. So I had to have that belief, that trust, that confidence, the faith in not only the company, but the brand, the Juice Plus brand, the Tower Garden, our business model, and the compensation plan. So I had to believe in it. I had to trust in it, have faith in it. And then I got inspired. And I'll never forget that you just reminded me, Cheryl, of years and years ago. I think it was back in the environmental days of the business, that there was a national marketing director that had us sitting in a room, and he gave us just a couple of pages, and he said, okay, this first page is everything, just bullets, just a bulleted overview of the company. And he went over some of those bullets, and he said, understand the company you're with. And he went over some of those and made us really feel proud. And then he said, turn to the person next to you and share the company that you are a part of. And so we shared that with the person sitting next to us. Then the next page was the products, just a bulleted profile. And so he went over that, and they were the highlights of the product, and you felt proud. So you turned to the next person on the other side of you, and you shared your brand. And then he went over the compensation plan, just highlights of that, and you turned to the person next to you and shared that. I never forgot that, because in doing so, I've created just a one form that has the company profile on it. It's a company mission statement. It's an overview of just the highlights of the product, our business model, and the 5 avenues of income. And I feel that that is just, anybody can do it. I can hand that form to someone tomorrow, and the next day they can be painting the vision. But it's getting inspired first, and only then can you inspire others. And we're inspired with our personal stories, our product stories. We're inspired with our business stories. And if you don't have a business story yet, borrow someone else's story. I call those borrowed stories. I'm telling Cheryl's story. I'm telling Jeff's story. I see Sasha Ludwig on the call tonight. I'm sharing her story as it relates to the person I'm speaking to. So I love painting the vision, because we live in potential, and people will just really relate to someone's story. I was loving the stories tonight, and I just wanted to say, I agree. I remember that story. And so I think that's the most important thing. And then the designing the team form, I did that from day one, which was really sitting down and identifying the top 5 people that I would just love to have partner with me in the business. And then the next top 5, that's my B list. And then the next top 5, my C list. So I now have 15 people that I'm going to focus on and create a little profile on each person. And that's what becomes magical, because when you create a profile on each person, and the most important thing is, what is it about that person you like, love, admire, respect? That is the key, because you're going to genuinely share that with that potential team partner and of why you would be honored to have them as your partner. And it's got to come from the heart. It's got to be genuine. And that's when it becomes magical. And people are honored. And they're never really told, at least in this day and age, people are generally told, oh, I love your new hairdo, or I love that color on you, or I love that new outfit. But they're not told, what is it about you that I have always admired and respected? And it's their strength. And then simply invite them to take a look at the business, or to a connection call or a Zoom call. Those forums have been the magic that has gotten me from partner to presidential national marketing director. Is that what we call ourselves? Presidential marketing director plus. and I love doing them. That's how I launch someone. And that's how Cheryl launches people too. So it's not just doing the forum once, it's doing it every single month. And it's having the discipline for you, no matter what position you are in the company, to do that forum for yourself every month. And sometimes I don't. The months I don't, I'm not focused on inviting anyone. The months I do, I'm focused. So,
and that focus is so important. I think focus is one of the most powerful things as far as a skill to acquire, is that really follow one outcome until successful, as they say, the acronym for focus, but it really does put you in control when you can totally focus. You are really using your abilities at the highest level. But what Cindy said right in the beginning, I think is so important too, is that, as they guided her as she first started her business, was, what are the things you're really proud of? You're proud of, list those things about your business. Whether you're just starting, what attracted you? What are you proud of? What really, as she said, inspires you to tell this to someone else? What do you, feel about the product? Where does the pride come in? And then, of course, the power of our pay plan. She just very simply gave you a good outline of how to think about it and have it broken down to share to someone easily. Now, as you, really start your own business, those things certainly come into play. And as you help someone, as you grow up, I mean, all we do really is we're little duplicating machines, okay? Because someone helps you go through that process, and then you turn around and you, as quickly as possible, you are helping other people go through that process, and you're teaching them to help other people go through that process. And so it happens over and over. Now, today we have a lot of technology that supports us as we reach out to people, but sometimes it can be almost too much. Sometimes I think it's like you take 1 million pictures on your phone, but then you don't go back and look at all of them. Sometimes it's nice to just have it in a book at your fingertips, so you can pick it up and flip through. And so Cindy, of course, as I said, is quite organized, and I've learned from her certainly over the years. But I'm going to let her share with you, how she more or less with the folder, the things that she has in it, how she works her day, so to speak, and works with new people as she helps bring them on. So Cindy, I'm going to go back to you.
I'm a little bit old school, everyone. So I am literate with technology, but it's impossible for me not to have some paper. And I work out of various binders. So one binder is my memory jogger that never leaves my office. It's in a drawer in my office, and in that binder is my memory jogger, but also my own designing the team forms of people that I would love to have partner with me in the business. And also in there are other partners that I'm working with that are either frontline, or they're duplicating under some of that frontline. They're designing the team forms. So what I find is, let's say Kelly, who's frontline to me, she's a sales coordinator. She calls me all of a sudden. She says, Cynthia, remember I told you about Kelly? Well, I've got her on the other line. Could you quickly talk to her about the business? And I quickly open that folder, and there, and her designing the team form is Kelly. I see a profile on Kelly, and I now know how to talk. You got to know your audience. So I know the bulleted profile of Kelly. So that has worked. Also, when we were going to home presentations, let's say Kelly had a home presentation and she had maybe 8 guests there. And on her designing the team forms were highlighted the people that were going to be the guests. So again, I'm quickly looking over these guests that are potential team partners, and I'm reading the profile on them. So when I arrive to her house with the guests that are there, I know my audience. That has helped me so much. So that is one binder. The other binder that I've created, and I think it could be for people growing up to sales coordinator, but I find it almost essential for people that are going from sales coordinator through leadership. We have gone on the Freedom Revolution, and there are the most amazing forms, like for phase 1 of our compensation plan, and then the forms that have been beautifully illustrated for phase 2. And there are the worksheets for every position. And so I have printed every single form. So if you print them all, you simply have a pile on your desk and you're totally confused. So what I've done is I put them into a success compensation plan binder. And I think I can hold it up for all of you to see. Okay, you can see this?
Yes,
Can you
yes.
see it? Okay, the front cover, it has the plastic sleeve, has the compensation plan. Good, Cheryl, she duplicated. Can you believe I taught Cheryl Cortese something? We all have our strengths, though. We all come to the table with our own individual strengths. Cheryl has so many strengths that I just admire and respect, and I'll get there someday. On the back, because we use this every single day, is the price and earnings guide. So I'm just flipping that over every day, using it. Open the binder. Actually, in the first sleeve, I have the I am statements, the positive business statements. And I'm a master at asking good questions and listening to others. These are all my I am statements, but let me take that out for a moment. Again, I'm starting right from the beginning with the stair steps in here and the earnings guide, and then it goes explore the possibilities. It's everything in order from phase 1. Now, then I get there's the planning worksheets for Partner Plus. They're in here, and I will print maybe 5 copies of each and put it in the plastic sleeve. 5 copies of QSC planning worksheet. 5 copies of the sales coordinator and planning worksheet, and put that in here. The secret right now, and I'll show you the secret. First of all, today I printed out, Mike Clifton sends them to me, and from the company, and he sent me about 150 12-month analysis of my leadership, of some top leaders. And so I've got those on the kitchen counter in a pile. They're ready to go in here as well. I've looked them over. I'm not going to put all of them in here, just the people I'm really working with. But in here, this is the secret, okay, is the conclusion of last month's PV report. And you can only acquire that on the morning after the end of the month, right before they run payroll. So I sent out to all my leadership the night before a message, just a friendly reminder, tomorrow morning, which was September 1st, pull the conclusion of August PVC report. Why do we do that? Because now we know how people ended their month. And so you know how they ended. Now you can guide and coach them to their next step. So this business is all about next step thinking. You arrive, we celebrate you, we pat you on the back, and then we turn you, and it's your next step, and we guide you to the next step, up the yellow brick road, I call it. So I have the conclusion of the PV report right in here. So I'm turning, and the first PV report is a person, a QNMD on my team called Gretchen. So right next to Gretchen on this PV report, I have her worksheet. Her worksheet, I'll hold it right up. This is her worksheet. And I analyzed it. This is her worksheet for taking her to NMD. It's right next to her PVC report. So I could absolutely analyze how she ended the month to fill out this worksheet of taking her to the next step. And what has been wonderful is that I've gone down a few levels. Like I've got senior sales coordinator underneath her, Jillian. I've got two senior sales coordinators under her. I've got Dr. Pamela Benitez is in here. You all know her. I've got another senior sales coordinator. I have a sales coordinator going for QSSC. So that's all there within her PV report. And so these people get theirs. I take a screenshot of it, and I'll send it to that person on Voxer, and I send it to their uplines too. So everyone has the copy. But what's been fascinating, after I send it to, like, for instance, I sent it to, all of a sudden here's her name, Becky. I sent it to Becky. She's a sales coordinator, almost a QSSC. And after I sent it to her on Voxer, then I put a Voxer message into her. And I said, Becky, you're going to do it. Look at you. Check, you've done this. You've got the volume. You've got the structure. All you need is for one person here to get another 2 active team partners, and you need a new QSC yourself. That's it, and you'll be there. I believe in you. We're going to do this together. I'm here for connection calls. So I Voxered that to her. And so she's hearing from grand Mama Bear here, who's watching over her, and everyone's watching over her, and that's been magical. And everyone's above her is getting her worksheet. So that's the secret. And I've done this for many people that I'm working with.
Well, and I think one of the things too that's really important to note is Cindy's not limiting herself just to paper or folder, as she said. She's intertwining that with the, the various ways in which we use technology to reach out to people. But it's such a good tool to be able to, open up. Look, well, I know for myself, even as we look at the various worksheets to grow into each position, the worksheets are great because it does give you a detailed, organized plan of what needs to be done. Just as she said, you filled it out, you're looking at it to see what is required, so you get a clear knowledge of that. But just to be able to open the folder wherever you are and see that right in front of you, I think is really, really powerful. Also, she's staying very closely connected, but she also knows what's going on in her team all the time. And of course, her business is one that now is quite large. It's after many years, but the time to start this is from the very beginning, because then you really start knowing your own business. You start knowing the people who are growing up beneath you. And I think it's really important, if we look at the PVC report, it shows everybody that's in your business. It shows, their names, what level they are, what, their production has been, and what is required to go to the next step. It helps you really see what's, your total production for your own business. So I would really encourage you with that PVC report from the time, it's a half a page. You want to be off. You want to be learning.
No.
Yes, go ahead.
Just an inch. If it's just an inch, learn it then. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when Cheryl and I were in the business as even Cheryl, I think it was even when we had become an NMD, we didn't have technology. I mean, we didn't have a PVC report.
We didn't even have PVC reports. We kept up with our people on a piece of paper, okay? And they'd send us one
Yeah. Oh.
They'd send us one at the end of the month after it was all over, and then you'd say, okay, what did they do and what do we have to, so it was much labor intensive, but at the same time, you know, it can be right at your fingertips, and that's the great thing, but it's also a strong learning tool as well. And also when you really begin to know exactly what's required, and we all will, you know, the worksheets are relatively new. I mean, just within the last few months. So instead of going to have to look it up somewhere and say, is this, you know, have we got everything in place? You've got the worksheet right there, letting you know what you need to do and how to do it. And her suggestion about making a number of copies of that worksheet, because some of them can be used to what do we need. Some of them, you know, you can see the progress. And I think it's really important to be able to see progress, measure progress. It helps people get that vision, but also she's inspiring people, not just the person who's frontline to her, but people on down the line, because they hear from somebody that can help inspire them because they're recognized. So that's an important part of it too. But a lot of things go around, you know, putting this into a folder so you can see it. And I still think one of the great tips is that, you know, you have that end of month, right that day, you know, you print off that PVC report so that as you go into the next month and you print that one off, you can look back and see if things have grown, where did they grow? If things have slipped a little, where did they slip? You know, so you can really be able to monitor that. It's very, very powerful. Cindy, did you have something else you wanted to share here? Do you want to?
It was interesting, Cheryl, because this month there was one QNMD on my team that actually went down about sizable, about 3,500, and PV went down. And I thought, oh my, wow, that's significant. So as I was taking out last month's, the July PVC report, I looked at that Q and I compared her leaders, what they had done last month to this month, and I saw what was happening. There were a lot of Tower Gardens paid in full in July business. And so I really, really stress to everyone, when you place any Tower Garden orders, any Juice Plus orders, do it on the installment. Otherwise, your check will just go up and down with those paid in fulls. And even though you know it's a paid in full and the next month it's going to go down some because it's already paid for, it's discouraging to see your check go down. So it's better to have everything in monthly installments and just to see it go up like this.
And really, we used to have this issue initially with the product, because it could be bought as a one-time or it could be bought as a, you know, on installments. And when people started, you know, making sure that they were buying it in installments, it did, you know, make the check very level. But what's good too is if this does occur, if they have been paid in full, then be able to see where the, you know, what happened. Right. Just that person knowing what happened, then it does help, you know, mitigate any of that disappointment too, because they say, well, they were paid in full, so your business really didn't go, just collected some of it early. So there, you know, both of those things really work for you, helping. And there's some people who are going to pay in full just because that's what they're going to do. But if you know what's going on in that business, then you can help the person adjust to whatever they need to adjust to, you know, to realize that maybe their business is still growing. They just had paid in full orders. But it's having that knowledge at your fingertips. It's so important. Cindy, any other, do we have time for a question or two? We're pretty close to end of time, but if anybody has a question for Cindy, we'll do one or two right quick. Anyone?
I don't have a question, but I just want to say that I just love me.
Complicated. And Ro is very successful as well. So, you know.
Kind of like having a security blanket, isn't it?
Yes.
I'll share one other tip that is my security blanket too. And that is, I call this dress for success. And it has nothing to do with what you have on. And I just take a Ziploc bag, the Ziploc kitchen bag, and I'll put in it maybe 2 Juice Plus brochures, 2 Tower Garden brochures. I'll take the hard copy, the paper copy of the installment automatic reorder form, fold it in half, our name and our ID number, our FIN number is on it, fold it in half, put it in the brochure. I have my business card stapled to the back. I'll put in maybe a complete vanilla and a chocolate, the sachets in it, just one of each, some of the gummy samples. That's it, just 2 brochures of each. And that is in, of course, we women like to change our purses. So that's in every single purse. And it's in my beach bag. So even today when we're out and about with masks on, we're running into people. We're starting up conversations and listening to people. And people will say, well, do you have any information on it? I just might. Let me see. Oh, I just happen to have. And so they go off with a brochure. And I feel like this is my security blanket. And I really did this in Bermuda. We go to Bermuda a lot. And I would have it in my beach bag. And I put it in the Ziploc bag so the sand wouldn't get in it. But then I duplicate it to all my handbags and it works, but you feel in control. And I just love that. Then you come home and you just put another brochure in it. And I don't have too many because I don't want to look too prepared,
I'm so excited about this call. I learned so much. Now I've been doing that because you had taught me that, but I didn't have it in every purse. I didn't have it in my, my beach bag and things. So I learned more and more. And even as an NMD, I just keep learning more and more. And I'm just so excited for this business. So thank you.
So I'll leave you with this fun factor because we do have fun in the business. And I was training a team in upstate New York on this. And so I pulled out of my Louis Vuitton handbag, the Ziploc bag, and showed it to them. And the next day was the training. And so I asked how many people, and there were maybe about 50 people in the room during the training. I said, how many of you are dressed for success? And these same girls that were at the dinner the night before said, oh, we're dressed for success. Well, 5 of them came up on the stage and they reached in their handbags and they brought out their Ziploc baggies and they were all done perfectly. And on each one in black magic marker was LV. For their new Louis Vuitton handbag. They said, we're going to do enough of these. We're going to get enough sales that we can get the Louis Vuitton handbag. So I thought that was a great incentive.
Yeah. Well, and folks, you've gotten some great tips tonight. And, Cindy, that's one thing. She really has always been prepared. That be prepared, and she definitely is. This dress for success. Listen, I'll tell you a little story on Cindy, but it speaks of her passion to make sure that she's always putting it out there, because she always is dressed to the nines for success, just in real life. Okay. And, but when we first came out with Juice Plus, and this has been nearly 30 years ago, it came in a bright orange box. Okay. It was just a square bright orange box. No matter where Cindy was, she put that box under her arm, okay, and she carried it everywhere. Well, people ask her what that box was. I mean, it was really how she started introducing Juice Plus when we first began 30 years ago.
Yeah, I carry
it still
everywhere.
And one of the
you got
everywhere. If you saw Cindy, she had that orange box on her.
I thought, how am I going to get people interested? And so they'd say, what is that? I said, I'm so glad you asked. Can you imagine fruits and vegetables in a capsule? And I'd open it up. And then I taught David to do this. And he was going up to New Hampshire to commercial real estate. And he said, well, I just tell people, David, that you're delivering it. And that, but you do have another one in the car so they could have that box. Because you see, we had to ship it back then. We had to stock it. We had to ship it. We had to collect the money. We sold it by the month for $50.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. So I'm surprised, Cheryl, we're still here to tell the story.
But determination, I mean,
Yeah.
and I think one of the things hopefully you'll all hear tonight is that the basics are always the basics. You know, the various ways that we use technology or, you know, a notebook or whatever, these are the techniques to help us really continue to facilitate the story, the basics of sharing the story, because that's what, no matter what technique we're talking about, it's to make sure you're sharing the story about the product, sharing the story about our business, putting your arms around people, inviting part of this mission, all just strategies and techniques to do that. We're paid storytellers and we like it. Okay, so I think we're about out of time at this point, but really hopefully everyone that this was something that makes a difference for you. We love having you here on Thursday night. And we'll continue to do it. So we'll look forward to next week and to the stories that we'll hear. They've all been different, and I think that's what's so wonderful. They're the same but different. It's just success in the Juice Plus bottles that I keep here on my desk, okay, so that I can use them when I'm doing three-way calls. But it's, you know, it's what the body needs, and it, you know, responds accordingly. And our business, certainly from a standpoint of supplemental income and helping people, especially in this time, we all have to really have the courage to make sure that we share on a regular basis, daily, reach out to people and make sure that they have the option for better health and supplemental income. So Cindy, thank you so much. And everyone who spoke up as well. And really, really appreciate you. And we're very blessed. We all have great friends and a great energy together and really the fun of it as well. So thank you, Cindy. Ro, all of you that were on, thank you to Carolyn Canizero and everyone who helped tonight. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you so
folks.
much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night. Good night, Ro.
Hi, thank you.
Good night. Bye,
Good night.
everybody. Bye.